everyone, my name is Sandesh. I'm a senior Web3 developer here at Alkimi.
Yeah, my name is Darshan, working as a backend developer at Alkimi.
Yeah, so today we'll be hosting this webinar for you guys, and today we'll be covering a brief introduction about Rust as a language, why it was introduced, what are the advantages, and why it is used for blockchain. Right? And also we will be covering a bit of hints and topics about the Alkimi and Sui hackathon as well. So let's get this webinar started. And so Darshan, would you like to give us a quick intro on it?
Yeah, sure. Rust was to develop giving the high performance programming language to mitigate the memory related issues. How Rust was developed is they won't using the garbage collection to handle the memory related things. They have the ownership model.
Yeah.
So once the value go out of the scope, the memory will be released and it will be free. So it can be useful for other other things.
Yeah, absolutely. So by this you mean that Rust is, more performant as well, and it also has memory safety as well.
Yes, Rust is a statically typed language, so it will give more security in terms of like other languages. So we can use for different kind of things. So not only the development kind of only a backend development, or we can use it for the embedded system, like as a low level system.
Absolutely. So it takes the best from both sides as well. So most languages, face the difficulty that it can either be performant or it can be memory safe.
Yes.
Right. So if the language is more performant, it usually has memory issues.
Yes.
Right. So Rust takes the best from both of these sides and is a performant language that also has memory safety as well.
Yeah.
Right?
To add on that, the Rust has come up with a compile time, error handling and all. While we working with very large scale of system, we need to work with the threads. So
yes,
when it comes up with the threads, there will be the race condition and memory leakage, lot of things we need to consider. To mitigate that, while compiling the program itself, Rust will throw the error. So we won't face the issue in a runtime.
So these are some of the very big advantages of Rust as well over other programming languages. So Rust is basically used for a lot of blockchain languages as well.
Yes.
As discussed. So as we know, some of the major issues with other contract languages as well is many of the companies have also lost a lot of money because of bugs or issues in the contracts or code. Right? So they could have identified this or mitigated this previously as well if they had known this. Because of this, Rust is being adopted by a lot of other languages as well, other chains as well, as their core language to build smart contracts on, to build their blockchain on.
Yeah.
So this is being adopted by a lot of other chains. So MOVE is one of those languages, right? One of the smart contract languages which Sui has actually adopted.
Yeah, before that, I think we should give the difference between Web 2 and Web 3. So people will get into that because most of the people will be in the Web 2, so they will have good idea how exactly the Web 2 is working.
Yes, absolutely. That is a very good point. Let's do a bit of deep dive into what is the main difference between Web 2 and Web 3 as well.
Yeah.
Right? So for Web 2 solutions, right, when we generally talk about Web 2 solutions, we talk about the front end, the back end, and the database and the servers.
Yes,
right? Yeah, absolutely. So these are usually managed or self-hosted. So there is a particular company or a particular person or a particular entity that manages these. These are what you also call as centralized systems.
Yeah, the entire system will be under their control, so they can do according to their requirement, or can say.
Absolutely. They can make changes to data, or they can, manipulate it or do anything with it because they have the complete control over it.
Yes.
But when we talk about blockchain, we talk about decentralized networks. When we talk about decentralized network, what does it actually mean? It means that there is no particular or single entity or body that regulates or controls it, right? The major reason for blockchain as well is transactions or anything that is stored in the database can be manipulated, but anything on the blockchain, right, it cannot be altered or adulterated. That transaction is as it was, right? So there is a certain layer of assurity as well, a certain layer of guarantee and transparency as well. Like that transaction was actually made by the sender, and that has not been altered or adulterated in any possible way.
Yeah. To add on that, in the Web3 we will be keeping the multiple copy of the data. So we'll call it as a nodes. So there will be multiple nodes, not only a single place we are storing the data. So there will be a couple of like multiple nodes we are storing the data, and each transaction will be signed by the user. So he can't come and say I didn't sign the transaction, I didn't do the transaction. So there will be the proof. So each transactions there will be the proofs.
Yes, absolutely. That is what the layer of security is for. Once a transaction is there on the blockchain, that means it has been done by the sender itself, by the person, right? And he cannot alter it or make any changes to it. There is no point, of saying that was not done by me, right? Or this transaction never happened.
Yeah, and anyone can able to view the transactions and the complete details, what happened to the transactions and all. But when it comes to the Web2 side, so they can hide some part of the data, or they can only able to show the few details.
Yes, absolutely. That is where the transparency layer actually comes into play, right? All transactions that happen on the blockchain are made public. Anyone can go and view those transactions.
Yeah.
Right. But when we talk about Web2 solutions, when we store it in the database, only the entity or the person or the organization which controls it will have access to it. Right. So those transactions are not actually made public. Those will be kept, as a secret or hidden from the public. But when we come to blockchain, all the transactions are made public. Anyone can go and watch or just check on the blockchain networks, or any of the viewers as well. They can go and check the transaction, the status of it, what has actually happened. Right? Nothing is kept hidden. There is complete transparency of all transactions.
Yes. So we will start with the Sui, how exactly they are handling the transactions and what exactly they are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just give a brief about Sui as well, like what they have started from, what milestones they have achieved, what problems or issues they have actually solved.
Yeah.
Right. So Sui was basically created from a group of engineers who worked at Meta. Right. Yeah. They envisioned a blockchain which resolved most of the issues that the current chains also face. Right. One of the major issues that most of the current chains face, as we all know, is the bloat state. Right. Storing data on chain.
Yes.
Right. That is one of the major issues. Then again, we also have slow transactions, and higher gas fees, higher transaction charges as well. So a lot of many things which are actually good about blockchain, and a lot of things which the blockchain actually needs to currently work on as well.
Right? Yeah, and to add on that, so Sui is a layer 1 blockchain. So why they went with a layer 1? Why can't they? So there are a lot of changes already present. They can go with another like layer 2, layer 3, right?
Absolutely. That is a very good question as well. Really, many of the people from the community may also have the question, why go with another layer 1 when the market is already flooded and saturated with layer 1 chains? Right?
Yeah.
The main reason for going with a layer 1 chain is that the compatible or the success of a blockchain language, right, depends on how compatible it is with other systems or other chains as well, right? In Sui, you can write a lot of contracts and you can connect them and you can interact with a lot of other systems as well, right?
Yeah.
The flexibility that they offer for integration is a lot more than what other chains currently offer, right? That is one of the major reasons why they went with a layer 1 blockchain, right? So many people may also have the question, what is Sui doing differently?
Yes, definitely. Like, because like lot of change is already present. So how it differ from other chain, or what exact problem they are going to solve?
Yes, absolutely. So many people do have this question, like what are they doing differently? Like there are so many layer 1 chains already. So what is Sui doing differently, right? When we talk about Sui, it has a lot of parallel execution, which most of the other chains don't have.
Yeah.
That reduces the transaction time drastically, right?
Yeah.
For other chains, you might have noticed when you try to make a transaction, it takes a lot of time and a lot of gas fees as well.
Yes.
But due to parallel processing, the transaction time in Sui is cut down drastically, and the gas fees is also cut down drastically.
Yes.
So these are some of the things as well. So there are a lot of other things, a lot of other protocols as well, which Sui currently works on. So we'll do a deep dive into that as well.
Coming to the storage, Sui come up with a new protocol called Walrus protocol for storage. Because how it will exactly store is, it will use the metadata to store in the on-chain, and the blob data will be stored in multiple nodes. So there will be the less storage on the on-chain network, but people can able to view the on-chain information, whatever the required data will be stored on-chain, and the exact data will be the blob data will be stored off-chain.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. So what Walrus does differently is the protocol which they use, right? They store the original data that you store as blobs. So blobs can be anything. It can be images, it can be audio files, it can be video files, it can be JSON data as well, right? So what they actually do is they take the actual data and store it off-chain, right?
Yes.
And they take the metadata of it and store it on-chain as a public record. So what actually happens is they are solving one of the major issues of blockchain, that is of the bloat state, storing huge files on chain.
Right? Yes, and not only a single copy. Like in a Web3, we need to maintain multiple copy.
Yes, absolutely, that is very true. So what actually happens is on other chains as well, right? When we store any blob data on chain, right? So we use something known as IPFS, right? Interplanetary file system. When we store into that, it does a full replication, right?
Yes.
So what it actually does is, considering you have a 10 MB file, okay, that 10 MB file will be stored in all of the nodes individually as a replica. So let's say you have 10 nodes. So those 10 files will be stored in 10 different nodes.
Yes. Yes.
Like that is not pretty optimal as well.
Correct. Right? When it comes to the production, like they're not running in a 10 or minimal nodes. There will be thousands of nodes. Absolutely keep on running. So there will be high processing and high gas payment, everything like.
Yes, absolutely. That is very true. Because of this itself, Sui created the Walrus protocol, right? So what they do is, by storing it off-chain, they reduce a lot of the data that needs to actually be stored on-chain.
Yes.
Right? So as the data that needs to be stored on-chain is reduced, okay, the bloat state issue, which we initially discussed, is drastically reduced there, right?
Yes.
There is one more thing which Sui also provides, right? The thing is, when you store any data on Walrus, right, on Sui network, okay, you also pay some amount of fees for the storage, right?
Yes.
Known as storage fees.
Storage.
But when you decide to, remove that data, okay, the remaining storage fees that is left will be sent back to the user as a rebate. So the user is actually rewarded to take the data off.
Yeah, right. This is a great thing what they are doing.
Absolutely, this is the chain where people are actually rewarded for not storing too much, to take the data off as well.
Yes.
So that is a great way to incentivize people not to store a lot of data on chain, right? So these are some of the things which Sui has actually worked on and are trying to make a difference into the real world. And most of the other chains also face the same issues, but they're unable to take action on this. But Sui has taken very good actions and countermeasures for this particular problem itself. They also have countered a lot of other problems as well. So let's do a quick summary of what all we have discussed throughout this webinar as well, and we'll cover up some of the points and do a quick recap of what all we have discussed, right? So initially we discussed about Rust, what are the advantages, what Rust actually provides, what is the main thing which Rust has done better than other languages, why it has been adopted by a lot of blockchains as well. What is Sui, what they are actually doing, what are the advantages of it, what they are doing differently to actually make a difference in the blockchain community as well. All right. So apart from all of this,
And Walrus, how the storage is proceed, like the Walrus protocol, how the Sui is adapted and how they are using.
Yes, absolutely. How they are actually making a difference in the storage as well in blockchain, right?
Yeah.
So apart from all of this, we are also conducting a Alkimi X Sui hackathon for all of the Rust developers out there to get on with Sui. Web3 and blockchain is the technology of the future. It is already being used by a lot of companies. A lot of products are already being built on it, right? Previously, it was like blockchain is just the future. No, blockchain is currently happening and it is happening now. We will be giving you documentation as well, and we will be teaching you how to get started, and we'll be taking you through this learning journey with us. So these will be based on real world problems, real industry level problems, which the community actually faces. Each week we'll be giving out puzzles, and one lucky winner will also win a cash prize, right? So this is your opportunity, guys. Get hacking.